Yo, what's going on? And welcome to the first edition of the new show, Chair Shot Commentary, here on Wrestleholics Radio. All right, let's get this conversation cracking without further ado. Over the past couple of weeks, we have seen a multitude of complaints about Triple H and the lack of black representation on PLE events. I believe it has been somewhere in the range of 3 months since we have had a black wrestler not even just headline, but just even be on a PLE card. It's been the new complaint of Black Twitter and the IWC. Now, rightfully so, but all of these things didn't come to the surface until everything went down with Bobby Lashley and MVP. Let's be honest. For some odd reason, the whole contract dispute thing with them, it kind of, I guess, triggered this investigation, right? And then from there, you have the comments that he made in regards to Bobby Lashley, right? The booking of Bobby Lashley. So conspiracy theorists will do what conspiracy theorists will do. Now, the theory behind this is that apparently Triple H is racist. That is what the internet has been saying, that Triple H is racist due to the whole black representation thing, right? Now, my problem with that is this. Under Vince McMahon, right? Under the regime of Vince McMahon, we never had a black champion. And when I say under the regime of Vince McMahon, and we're never having a black champion, I'm talking about black as in actual skin color, like someone of dark brown complexion, okay? Or darker, right? Or someone that looks like me, right? We didn't have that under Vince per se, right? Now you will have some fans who will say The Rock, okay, I will give you that. I personally don't count The Rock. Just like I personally don't count Sasha Banks. That's me personally. If you don't agree with me in the comments, then, if you don't agree with me, let me know in the comments. Now, when I say under the reign of Vince, because we did have, of course, Kofi and Big E as champion and Bobby Lashley as champion, all under Vince McMahon. But there was also under Vince McMahon when Triple H had more say-so in regards to creative and control. Let's be honest. Because a lot of the booking decisions that happened regarding Kofi Kingston winning the championship, regarding Big E winning the championship, a lot of people back then were actually awarding those decisions to Triple H. Triple H just gave us the longest reigning black women's world champion with Bianca Belair. She has been a multi-WrestleMania main eventer or headliner. We have the match that she main evented with Sasha Banks. Okay. If you look down to NXT, granted NXT and main roster have nothing to do with each other, but when people say the black representation thing, then I want to holistically look at it to apply into the entire company, because at the end of the day, Triple H even has say so over NXT because of his position in the company. So if we're going to look at the whole company, so we're just going to completely mitigate the fact that NXT had Umberfemi on a monster like tour. We're gonna forget about that, right? We're not going to mention that. Or is that too much akin to, because it's NXT, no one cares? Because I dropped a video a while ago talking about AEW and the Athena situation, right? And I had a few people that dropped down in the comments and tell me that, oh, well, I don't know what I'm talking about. Athena's the longest reigning women's Ring of Honor World Champion or TV champion, something of that nature, right? The problem is I didn't know that, unlike most people who probably don't know that, because again, Ring of Honor is a show that does not get national exposure. It's not on cable television. NXT is on cable television. It gets national exposure. If you're a wrestling fan, you know the name of Femi. If you are a wrestling fan that is an actual fan of wrestling and not a tribal loyalist. Again, separate topic, separate video. But so this whole thing of Triple H not booking black talent well, me personally, I don't believe it. You don't have to agree with me. If you do, lovely. If you don't, lovely. But I do not believe it. I don't see it. Ironically, I would say, and unfortunately, the current set of black talent that we have, although good, storyline wise, is not anything for them to do. Now, the argument could be, oh, well, he's not booking them. Or, how can you book them? Since everyone has a golden idea, how can you book some of these guys that are not being booked? How can you book the Street Profits better? Because let's be honest, the Street Profits, they are in the tag team division. And the tag team division overall as a whole absolutely sucks. You know the tag team division sucks when your on-air character, Adam Pearce, is even talking about how the fact that the tag team champions have had 2 defenses in 3 or 4 months as tag champs. The tag team division in WWE has sucked for a long time now. Okay, at minimum since the Usos won the championships with the Bloodline. That was probably the last relevance that we saw in the tag team division. And other than that, no. So there goes the Street Profits. Of course, you have Femi down in NXT. He's probably not going to be counted. You had Odyssey Jones get released, which absolutely, yes, I understand domestic violence allegations, but this man got drafted to Raw, I believe, 2 years ago. Finally debuted this year, had 3 matches, and then got released. Like, come on. Young people, young brothers with money. Okay, if you're watching this, fellas with money, fellas that have things to lose, avoid red flag females at all costs. Okay, because if you don't afford them at all costs, they will cost you. Back to what I was saying. Now you do have the women's tag team championship, Jade and Bianca Belair. Now, ironically enough, after the Bad Blood press conference pay-per-view, now we're seeing Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair more prominently on TV. So with that being said, my question would be, are you not entertained now? Did you get what you asked for? Is this what you wanted to see? Because this sums it about up. So now we see what appears to be a friendly rivalry or competition going with Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, Last Legend, and Jakari Jackson. Right? You've seen Kalani Jordan the past 2 weeks on NXT when you weren't seeing her permanently. Again, she has the mid-card championship, and unfortunately, championships most of the time do not get you booked properly. Let's keep in mind, we had a U.S. champion for what, 4-5 months with 2 title defenses as the U.S. champion. He wasn't being booked properly. You've had the Intercontinental champion prior to the reign of Gunther that wasn't being booked properly. Your tag team champions haven't been booked properly. So is there bad booking in WWE? Yes, all the time, from a creative standpoint, based off what fans want to see. Okay, but it's not just limited to race. The women's division is being booked horribly right now. It's being booked so horribly, I can't even tell you the names of the women on the Raw roster that are not Liv, Rhea, now Raquel Rodriguez, and It's a complete blank. And I know it's other women on the roster. Oh, Selena Vega. I think Damage Control, or they're on SmackDown. Nope, they're on Raw. Okay, I remember some. But again, so Damage Control just had a match. So, yes, bad booking exists. No, I do not believe it's racist. Much like we have seen before in the past, I am a firm believer that perhaps, maybe just perhaps, once we see someone step up to the plate and actually be able to hold down that spot, then they will get the push they deserve. Now, allegedly, Montez Ford does not want to go out on a singles run because he's worried about his tag team partner, which is awesome. Because Montez Ford, I believe, is one that could hold down that spot at the top. He is a complete package. Promos, ring ability, charisma, anything that you would want in a superstar to main event and be the face of your company, Montez Ford has. All right. Bobby Lashley, let's keep it a bean. Bobby Lashley was good inside the ring. Outside the ring, that was his downfall. He was not good at promos. He was not a good talker. That was why you had MVP to team up with him. Ironically enough, it was the same thing with Bobby Lashley and MVP in TNA. That's his one downfall when it comes down to being a professional wrestler, a sports entertainer, whatever title you want to give him, right? Bobby Lashley lacks serious charisma in order to connect with the fans. He doesn't have it, which is why he never got sustainable, credible pushes and to the likes of what some people would have wanted to see. He was going to get boring. Even Hurt Business Bobby Lashley, eventually, it was on the verge of turning stale because there's only so much, you can't add layers to it. Bringing the Hurt Business back, yeah, that probably would have been a cool idea, but at what point in time, but for what? Because if you was going to bring them back, you would have had to been able to bring them back and put them in the spot almost as high as what you had the Bloodline in. Just because the hype and the buzz that surrounded that group. Now the problem is, do you see them being able to connect with the fans in order to actually sustain a long-term push and you doing that? That's the stuff that we didn't think about. We just got upset that Triple H never brought the Bloodline back. I mean, the Hurt Business back. But if he would have brought the Hurt Business back, could all three of them, could two of those three of them in the future have been main eventers, capable of holding 3 to 8 month runs, capable of being decent, believable placeholders or transitional champions until the next face of the company was established? Man, forget it. Could they have been future faces of the company? Doing all the media blitzes, doing the morning and late shows. Could they have done that? Any of them. And reflected what the company wanted to reflect. The family friendliness, the you know, all the crap that WWE wants to try to reflect. Probably not satisfactory, no. The charisma, the likability, the believability. All of them were good in the ring. And let's be real, Cedric Alexander is weak with promos too. So we're not even going to sit here and try to fluff that one out. He's weak with promos too. So yes, it does suck that the Hurt Business never got a second run in WWE. But at the same time, it should have never been broken up in the first place. Let's be real about that fact. And I think that's something that we should all acknowledge. Had the Hurt Business been kept together in the first place, then you could have kept them along with the growth of the Bloodline without hurting them at all, because they were on separate shows, on separate rosters, and you could have completely alleviated them running into each other. But for some reason, somewhere along the way, the Judgment Day came into place, and I guess that's what the long-term plans were. And yes, I know the Hurt Business was broken up long before the Judgment Day. But coming from a booking standpoint, if they were hypothetically revisiting bringing the Hurt Business back around the same time they brought the Judgment Day in, because they had started breaking up factions, or they needed a little bit more factions. One thing with the War Games match, you gotta have factions because you gotta have believable reasons for the 10-on-10 War Games. So where would Hurt Business have fit in? And the reason why I'm talking about Hurt Business a little bit right now is because, again, this whole thing about WWE or Triple H not booking black wrestlers well wouldn't have came up if it wasn't for the contract situations between Lashley and MVP. Now, I've said this whole video to say what I'm about to say now. The whole point and purpose of this video is this. Currently in culture, we got a lot going on. From a political standpoint, from social standpoints, there's a lot going on. And a lot of things have bled over into different genres and different venues and different forms of entertainment. And for some people, there are some people who personally turn to entertainment as an escape from the reality of all the other things and events that we have going on in the world. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. With that being said, here is what I do not want wrestling to become, especially WWE, AEW. Honestly, no single promotion do I want becoming this. I do not want wrestling to start being infused with different ideologies and different things coming over from the sake of different movements of pop culture trends outside of wrestling. I'm trying to say it really nicely, but if you're able to decipher what I mean, then you should understand what I'm saying. Let's not bring that crap into wrestling. Let's keep the entertainment there. I have no problem with representation of groups. I have no problem with representation of ethnicities. None of that. It's cool. We've gotten a lot of good diversity and creativity when you do that. But outside of that, man, let's keep this thing entertainment. Let's keep it where it's at. Let's stop letting outside influences beyond wrestling influence what we're seeing in wrestling. But all right, man, this video has been longer than I wanted it to be. Again, thank you for being a subscriber to the channel. For all my subscribers that are returning, if you're watching this video for the first time, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, turn that bell icon on so you can get notified whenever I drop content. And welcome once again to the first edition of Chair Shot Commentary. We will be launching a weekly podcast soon, so stay tuned for that. And that's pretty much just going to be a recap of the week of wrestling. There will be a video version of the podcast available. However, just know the video version will probably be very minimalistic and it won't be the entire thing that I'll be posting on YouTube. So there will be clips. If you like what you see in the clips, go check out the podcast. But once we launch it, I'll put the information up and make it available. Other than that, hey man, remember, keep your head up, stay blessed, stay focused, and until next time, have a seat. Stephen Ramon out of here.